thing we've got to look forward to is what I tend to term the metal expansion, which, you know, titanium, gold, platinum in the past, which is usually a map and some equipment to go with the map. So last time out we got Estancia Lapacho, and we got Star equipment which is specific to South America. So again, you could do, I don't know, say an Australian map with John Deere equipment would fit there. So I think they've got two opportunities to officially release some more John Deere equipment or another manufacturer, hopefully Claas. And then after that you've got the final expansion, which was Roper last year, and I didn't buy that because I felt the Roper equipment, I mean, it was a cheaper DLC. It was only $8 rather than 10 or whatever, 12. But it didn't really replace any equipment that was already in the game. It provided you a different coloured alternative almost. You know, your potato harvesters in game are red, and the potato harvester they were providing was yellow. Plus, I didn't really do a lot of potato harvesting, so that particular DLC was, as far as I was concerned, I was probably never going to use any of it. It's only when Mercury Farm came out, and of course with Mercury Farm you can store potatoes and beets in the storage sheds, that I decided, and plus I started with a field of potatoes, that I decided, well, I might do potatoes on Mercury Farm. But typically I avoid potatoes because they're such a pain to harvest. Now on a map like this you can get away with doing potatoes because the fields are all very small, so it doesn't take you 3 days to complete the potato harvest. And if I've decided to do pigs on a map, I will always prefer sugar beets to potatoes. Because I think both of the harvesters, the tractor mounted sugar beet harvester has a better working width than the potato harvester, and it has a better capacity as well, so doing it on the cheap, it's, you know, beets is a sort of less time investment in harvesting it, and also the beets can be planted from a planter that also does corn and sunflowers, and a potato harvester you have to use a potato planter. And beets are fairly efficient usage of seed, and potatoes are a horrible usage of seed. But once you have that first field of potatoes, so long as you plan, you harvest your potatoes, you keep them all. When planting season comes around, you put the potatoes in the ground, and then you sell what you have left over. So you never have to buy, 50 crates of seed to plant potatoes again. But outside, as far as I'm concerned, that's the only benefit of doing potatoes, and having a DLC that includes a whole bunch of potato harvesters is sort of, I'm not doing potatoes. I did it once on Goldcrest Farm. It was the first farm I played, and then said, God, this is horrible, I'm never going to do potatoes again. And on Lawfolds, in spite of the fact I have beet harvesting equipment, I've used it twice. And both times was because I bought a field with beets already planted and decided rather than plough in the crop and get a free level of fertilisation, I would let the beets grow and I would harvest them. And then I decided, and I'll buy some cows. Sorry, no, I'll buy some pigs. Pigs eat beets. So that's why they kept the beets. I think I kept about 30 crates of beets. And I'm never going to run out of beets on that map. Not before we wind up the series. So I'll never have to voluntarily plant beets on that map. Can't say there's much in the way of announced mods for Farm Sim 19 that I'm really looking forward to. Back on Christmas Day, there was a map modder that released a map called Rolling Hills. American map. Very, very nice American map. Now, it was sort of almost an alpha release, which he did on just before Christmas Day, to sort of say, this is what I'm working on, have a play with it. And since then I haven't seen any updates on that map status at all, which is kind of a shame. It's sort of the scale of the Michigan map, but it's not flat. Doesn't have a train line, but that's no big shakes. It has a bunch of yards which, like the Michigan map, are already developed. They have buildings already on them, so you just buy the yard. But as I said, there haven't been any updates on that map since, I'm guessing, January, where most people were saying this is a really pretty map, keep working, and nothing. Now it does suffer with the problem I have with a lot of maps in the fields are huge, but it's an American map where fields are huge for the most part. Yeah, I do like using big equipment. I just don't like spending 3 hours harvesting one field, even with big equipment. I like to feel I'm and progressing. Now, admittedly, I can't make 100,000 euros off of harvesting one field on this map, which, yeah, with a big map, yeah, you can rake in a load of cash. But you need a lot of money to start that, because you've got to pay the worker on the harvester, and you are still constantly driving the tractor and wagon to empty it and either sell the grain or put it into your silo. And if you've only got 100,000 litre silo, you're gonna run out of space, because the fields are so big. I mean, in a way, while Ravenport isn't particularly typical America, if you like, the field sizes are such that you're not liable to get bored just working one field. I think the big maps make really nice large multiplayer co-op maps, like we did with Arthur on South Mountain Creamery, where you can have up to 16 players and you're all working on the same farm and you've got a lot of farm equipment, so a harvest can be done very quickly when you got 3 harvesters and 6 guys running wagon service. I think the mistake we made with Michigan map was we kind of started with 6 different farms and 2 people on each farm, and the fields were so large that 2 people kind of spent the entire session just harvesting. And so pretty much your stream just ended up as, we're harvesting the field again this week, and we're harvesting the field again this week. And this week we've got corn in it and we're harvesting the field again. And it's just sort of, you're not really making that. I felt that South Mountain Creamery was a better event, because everybody was in the same chat channel. We were all working together for one purpose. And I think that's what big farms do. The other option is to have a big map with lots of small fields and lots of yards, and then you can play multiple farms on a single map. So something like, what was it? Suppose even Coldborough Park Farm, where you had 3 different farms and the fields weren't particularly large, so you could play multiplayer with different people running different farms. And obviously Farm Sim 19 works much better than Farm Sim 17 did for that count, because each of the farms can have different accounts and different equipment, and you can kind of contract with each other. I've got a Krone Big M, so I can mow fields really quickly. Who wants to rent me out to mow their field? thinking I probably will do Oakfield Farm when Seasons 19 comes out. Because it does have some big fields. And it does have some steep hills, so you're going to need some big equipment, even if you're, or at least big tractors, even if you don't have big equipment, just to overcome the hills around. And at that point, with Seasons, because it's a more structured playstyle, you know, you've got, say you pick a 6-day season, which is what I'm kind of used to. I've got 6 days in which to plough each of the fields, and I can do it in any sequence I like. And you know, you've got to take the time to do the work. With the game in the state it's in at the moment, the faster I can get these fields ploughed and reseeded, the better, because it makes money turnaround faster. With Seasons, speed is not an issue, because you can't plant in the middle of summer and you can't harvest in spring, so you are always looking for something to do to burn some time up before the next sort of farming event starts. And I did find that with Seasons on Lawfolds. Once I've ploughed every field and I've planted every field, I've now got to wait for them to grow, and if I've done all that in a couple of days, then okay, what can I do now? Oh, let's chop down a few trees. Okay, we did that. What shall we do now? Oh, the fields grew. We can send a tractor around and fertilise all the fields. But I was always able to fill in other stuff between what I was doing on my fields. And that's something that Seasons gives you, which the base game doesn't. In the base game you're just encouraged to harvest, cultivate, sow. Okay, wait till the next time to harvest this field, so move on to the next field and cultivate, harvest, grow. Cultivate, plant, harvest. And the rain isn't significant in the base game either. Okay, it's raining, fine, we'll not harvest anything for now. Okay, the rain stopped, I can harvest immediately. With Seasons, you might have to wait 6 to 12 hours for the crop to dry out before you can actually do anything to it. Yeah. But I think with Oakfield, I'm inclined either not to have a semi-truck. Maybe if I'm going to use a truck, I might consider using hook lift, which are a little bit more agile and can maneuver around the roads a little bit easier, and they're quicker than a tractor and a tipper. But you don't use them on a field, so oops, don't do that. On Lawfolds now, I was using the AR frame system, which is much like the hook lift system. But when I was out on the field, I would have a tractor and 2 of the tippers servicing the harvester. But to ship the stuff to market, I'd load one of the tippers on the back of a truck and attach the trailer with the tipper on it. But more recently what I've done is I've got a very, very big auger wagon, and I use that to service the harvester. Ship the stuff to the silo, and then I just use the trucks for road transport. I think the trucks I'm using are about 540 horsepower, so they do hills quite nicely. And there are some hook lift Scania and Volvo trucks which do have a lot of power. Oops. Forwards. And then the regular hook lift trailers which you can use on fields for the work. And generally I avoid using single, obviously the semi-trucks are great because they can be used with a flatbed for bales and a tipper for grains and a tanker for milk and water. So I don't like to get single-use short wheelbase trucks, because you're investing a lot of money in a vehicle. It's the engine that's costing you the money, and I prefer not to have a single task tied up in one engine. I mean, harvesters you really can't get away with, but when you look at a tractor is very versatile and can do every job on the farm. So if you can find a truck that can do every road job on the farm, then that's a good deal, because the truck costs a lot of money. The hook lift attachments or AR frame attachments that you load on it are substantially cheaper. I mean, if you're only going to do, when you're initially investing in your hook lift system, it's going to cost you a lot of money initially. Because you're going to spend, where is it? There we go. 500 horsepower hook lift truck is 130,000. So that's a big outlay, but similar price to a semi-truck. However, when you get to, where is it? Tippers. Trailers. I'm going to put one of those on a semi, 62,000, 48,000 litres. Or I can put probably not that one, that's only 12,000 litres. That one is 30,000. That one is 30,000 as well. But you look at this and it's $8,000. 2 of those, and we're hauling more than the semi-trailer for, what was it, 78,000. Yeah, I'm hauling more than that trailer can carry for 2 sets of 8,000. All I then need is the wheeled frame, which is 40,000. So it costs me a lot to get the truck and a single trailer, but once I've got them, these attachments are really cheap. 6,500 for a large flatbed, and I can get 2 of those for 13,000. Do I have a Flegel flatbed? That's probably under Baling Tech. There we go, flatbed trailer, 28,000, and I can do that with 2 hook lift frames for just 10. Well, yeah, what was it? 8.5 each, so 17. So a lot less money. It's going to set you out more for the truck and the trailer. But after you've got the truck and the trailer, all of the attachments that go to it are a lot cheaper. And if you've got the trailer and somewhere to go, you can always attach the trailer to a tractor. So while you might not take the truck out onto a field, you could take the trailer out onto the field behind a tractor to do some field work, service your harvester or whatever. Oh, that's crap. Come on, there we go. In 17, this was the first map I used the AR system on, back when it was still produced by GTX Mods. And the roads on the 17 map were very small. There's a little bit more room to manoeuvre on the 19 map. Oops, let's press the right button. There we go. But it did serve me well because it's that much easier to drive around the roads with a small truck than it is to drive around with a semi-truck. Did I still miss a bit over there? I did, didn't I? Missed a bit there too. Okay, and we will turn around, catch that patch on the way back down. And then the southern field. Southern? Western? I don't know. Some field over here. I find it. Okay, what state is our plough in right now? Oh yeah,